Hello, leader. Today, we're talking about crying. Have you ever had a team member burst into tears at work? How did you handle it? Does this happen often in your business, or is it specifically one team member who cries often? What triggers their tears? Was it their reaction to some feedback you gave them? And are you reluctant to give feedback to your team because you're afraid it won't be taken well and some more tears may flow? And then you really won't know what to do. Well, today we're going to look at how we can lead our team, even when emotions are high, including our own. I'm going to share with you my top 3 actions to take when people cry at work. Welcome to the Stacking Your Team podcast. There's no doubt about it. You are in the right place because this show is all about expanding your leadership and team impact through proven tools and strategies that work well for you, that service-based small business owner. You don't have an in-house training and development department, venture capital, or a pool table in the cafeteria, and many of you likely have a remote team. But one thing is clear, you're wanting to improve how you lead your team. So welcome. I'm your host, Shelley Warren, coming to you from behind the mic in Canada, where I share proven practical tools and coaching designed to save you time, boost your confidence, and improve your effectiveness to lead. Let's get into it. Sometimes people cry at work. They lose control of their emotions. It's not always a bad thing. Sometimes their passion for the work, a promotion, a wonderful review from a client, or being engaged with a philanthropic cause that your business supports can trigger the tears. So tears at work can be happy tears. On the flip side, sometimes a peer says something or acts in a certain way that triggers a negative memory for the team member, and it's difficult for them to differentiate the memory from the current situation. It can feel all too familiar for them. They try and shake it off, but it catches hold. Now, you are not their therapist, even if you actually are a therapist, nor are their peers who may be healthcare professionals. You are their leader, so you don't provide mental health and well-being guidance to your team members. Instead, you refer them to outside professionals, support them with time away to get the help they need, and then work with them to return to work in such a way that they feel ready to re-engage and contribute. When a team member cries, it's often because they've been bottling up their emotions, stifling their thoughts, and they're reacting to any and all kinds of triggers. Tears flow when we're happy, sad, tired, overwhelmed, stressed, excited, scared, and even when we're frustrated. Because life is real. People are stressed out. Maybe you are too. When a team member cries, they can be responding to both the message that you're sharing and how you're sharing it. It can be overwhelming for them for sure. So your choice of words, your tone, the team atmosphere, and timing can all be triggers for that person. So can their overall health. If your team member is working on high pressure work, like a launch, a critical startup, maybe opening a new location, maybe you're going to be hosting an event, or when they're struggling with serving a difficult client, emotions can run high and their health can be compromised. Especially if they're not getting enough sleep, not eating regularly, not getting support at home or in the workplace. They might feel like they're running on empty. Now, it's a fact, and the pandemic certainly reinforced it, that most women are doing the majority of the emotional labor on the home front. They're also doing the majority of the invisible labor required to manage a household and care for everyone who lives there. Something's got to give. Now, seeing team members cry can catch us off guard. After all, it's not like we go to work each day and think, wonder who's going to cry today. No. Back in my corporate days, I was warned not to take a desk at a workspace that was near the crying room. You see, that leader was known for bawling out his team members, regardless of their gender, and too often, people left in a puddle of tears. Those who worked in that area would hear the commotion and then scatter as to not add any more embarrassment for their peer who was coming out of the crying room. Of course, you can probably guess what happened when I found this out. I just couldn't believe this was a known situation that was being tolerated by those who worked in that department. So you know what I did? There's no place for bullying and intimidation anywhere, including in your small business. Your team is under your care and guidance, just like your clients and customers are. It's your role to lead with purpose, not position or power. So when you have to provide constructive feedback or communicate change in any way, your role is to anticipate how this is going to impact your team and then ensure you consider how this information might make them feel. Over the years, I've had many people lose control of their emotions at work. Sometimes it truly caught me off guard, and other times I actually anticipated that it was going to happen. I have had grown men morph into bundles of nerves because they're feeling so much pressure at home to not travel for a while to help mend broken relationships. So when I asked them to once again jump on a plane and assist with a large startup far away from home for a few weeks, well, they'd get upset. It's not the work. They loved what they did and they were great at it. It was the pressure from the home front. It's the fear of possibly losing what they loved most. And thinking back on this feels awful. And the only recourse was that I often scheduled shorter trips or less trips and planned in options that would allow them to return home more often. A common uncomfortable experience was millennials breaking down in performance reviews because no one had ever been that open with them about their capabilities or pointed out and then reinforced areas where they needed to improve. And I often think we do a disservice to our young people by not preparing them for the world of work. And I've often had team members cry because they've finally been recognized after feeling lost in the crowd of competitors. They were overwhelmed that someone noticed them and their work. This can be very real when you work for a large organization and people are overlooked, sometimes even dismissed. I've had team members cry when we've lost a peer too soon or they've lost a loved one. And that's always touchy because you want to acknowledge their loss and at the same time, work can be a brief escape from it all. So mentioning it can cause those emotions to bubble up again. I've not forgotten this one. I once had a team member call in to tell me that they wouldn't be in because they were ill, and then suddenly break down telling me their wife had left them the night before. It was the relief of telling someone, coupled with the devastation that their life as they knew it was about to change. And that's what caused them to cry. This was difficult as this person was a stellar performer, had perfect attendance, and was by all accounts a real family man. It was heartbreaking to literally hear his heart break over the phone. And I've had team members cry because of their enthusiasm for a project that they were incredibly excited about. They'd recognized that this was going to be a pivotal career moment for them by being asked to participate or lead a portion of that project. And there have also been times when people got emotional and took a stance towards a decision or a strategy that they felt strongly about. And of course, I've had team members cry because they needed to cry. People cry. It can be embarrassing for them and anyone who witnesses it. But you can ease that discomfort by giving people some privacy and some space. It also helps to acknowledge the pressure they may be under. Some of it is real, and some of it could be imagined based on anxious stories that they're telling themselves. But how you react to their tears makes all the difference. Here's something I learned quickly when I became a leader of teams. We care for our team members deeply, but we can't take care of them. What we can do is look for signs of overwhelm. We can check on our team's depth of engagement and see if it's deep or just slightly sitting on the surface. We can take notice of who's been working ridiculous hours, and we can introduce a drumbeat for one-to-ones and daily touch points so that our team members feel connected to us. We can ask them, what looks like help to you right now? And we can plan for how best to roll out change in our organization so that it's better received. We can create a workplace culture where it's okay to ask for help and make it easy for them to find information where they can become self-sufficient and find the help they need on their own. We can build a team culture of high trust and what we like to call psychological safety built in by demonstrating that the health of our team is important to us. And you can introduce trainings all about wellness, anxiety, financial health, and of course, mental health. But here's the watch out. We won't coddle our team by not providing feedback out of worry about how they're going to react. We won't stay stuck in the status quo because our team may not welcome anything new or different. And we won't keep tolerating poor performance, gossip, poor depth of engagement, or drama because of a few people on our team who have a unique skill. No way. We will lead, we will strive to improve across our entire business, and that is going to impact people. So let me share with you my top 3 actions that you can take when emotions are high in your workplace. Number 1, take a stance for your role when people become emotional at work to better understand if there was something you did that caused the emotions to bubble up. When you're rolling out something new, or making an announcement, or confirming the details of a decision that you've made, start with anticipating and tapping into your intuition about your team and plan for any reactions that might be hard to handle. Consider when and where you're sharing this information. Doing simple things like planning the conversation to be at the end of the day and being sure that the performance feedback conversations happen in private shows that you thought about them in advance. Anticipating questions that they may ask and have some answers ready, even if the answer is, I haven't worked out those details yet. Or, thanks for pointing that out. I'll take some time to think about that further and I'll get back to you by Friday. And if you believe performance feedback conversations may become volatile, having another trusted leader on hand to call in for support will look like help. It's a fact that when we spend time with our team, we get to know them. When we treat our team well, they'll be more comfortable to bring their whole selves to work. And it's not that we want to know every detail about their lives, no, but we do want them to feel supported when they need it. We want them to come to ask for support when there's a difficult situation at home or when they're struggling with the task or project, because we want them to succeed. And when they feel supported, they will trust us. Here's the second action step that you can take when emotions are high in your workplace. Thoughtfully choose your words, your responses, and your tone. And here are some of my favorites that I've used when I know darn well this feedback is not what they wanted to hear. Here we go. I know this is not the news that you wanted to hear. I see that this is not the news you wanted to hear. I can see your disappointment in this decision. Now, your role is to see them, hear them, and acknowledge their emotion, and then motivate them to move forward. So here's a few more responses that you can try. You can take time to consider this. You don't have to answer this right now. How about thinking about this over the weekend? When we're rolling out change, most people's first response is to be afraid. It's that fear of the unknown and how this new change is going to affect them personally. So here's a few more responses that you can use when you want to create calm and confidence for your team. We have a plan and you're going to be part of it. We have some concerns too, but we're confident that with your help and the help of the team, we're going to recover from this. This is a lot to take in. We'll go over this in more detail with the whole team on Monday during our weekly touch point. And here's the third action step that you can take when emotions are high in your workplace. Have some self-awareness about your own unconscious bias about the team, a person, or the situation itself. Start by thinking back on feedback that your team has been giving you about your communication style. Are there phrases that you use that are not welcomed? Do you have a habit that rubs your team the wrong way? Do you often wear your emotions on your sleeve? So let's say that you have someone on your team who can often be combative with you. They have ideas, you have ideas, and you both like to openly take the stage to share them. So in this situation, you can expect them to ask questions, key questions. So plan for that in advance. Be prepared for what they will see as important and have an answer ready. Even if the answer is, I don't know, or I haven't worked through all of that yet, or I was hoping you'd help me with that. Now, we've learned early in life that we can control our own thoughts and emotions, but we cannot control anyone else's. So at best, we can try to anticipate concerns and reactions and then minimize the drama in those uncomfortable situations. And as I mentioned earlier, as leaders, we can care deeply about our team, but we cannot take care of them. And here's what I mean by that. We cannot fix their broken relationships, pay off their debt, make their teenager talk to them again, keep them healthy, find them a place to live, or make them happy. We can support them, listen to them, notice signs of overwhelm, do our best to make their jobs easier, listen to their points of view, ask them for input, absolutely appreciate their efforts, and then let them cry without any repercussions. Now, most people who have an emotional outburst at work will remember how you react in the moment. They'll remember if you held space for them and assured them that they could take time to work through their emotions in private, and then reassured them that you'll be here when they feel like they can continue the conversation. They're going to trust and appreciate you. I hope I've given you some things to think about, and especially how to respond and then anticipate when a team member cries. You know, leadership can be exciting, challenging, and lonely at times. So don't go it alone. Let me help you create the team and the leadership structure that you've been craving. So until next time, remember, if you have a dream, you need a team. So let's get stacking yours today.